Welcome back. 2002 Chevy Impala. The bad power steering pump. We replaced the pump and the reservoir on this. Looked at it already. Steering's hard. Bring the RPMs up, smooths out. Driving down the road, it's fine in the beginning, and then it just gets just hard and stiff, and definitely needs to be replaced. So we're going to go through and do that. So first things, I have an extractor, a fluid extractor, so we're going to take as much fluid out of this as we can get out of it. Try to make as little mess as possible. I do have a pan underneath because I expect some of it to leak, but I'm going to get most of it if we can. It's really dirty. I was looking at this the other day, and there's a bunch of, did drain it once, pumped it out, and it was full of crud in the bottom of the reservoir, looked like corrosion. That's kind of what it felt like, so I'm going to pump as much out of here as we can. It'll help somewhat. I'll get the belt off and out of the way. This is a, let me get my flashlight. One of my flashlights. I should plug my other one in, which I did not, of course. 3/8 square drive. You have to rotate it that way, towards the back. It's pretty easy, actually. Belt off. Okay, I'm just going to pull this belt kind of back and out of the way here. I don't want to get fluid on it, so we'll try to get it out of the way as much as possible. Okay. There's 3 bolts. This pulley, you can turn, it has holes in it. To get to these 3 bolts, there's one here, there's one down here, and I believe there's, I think there's only 3. One here on this side. Yeah, there's 3. We're going to undo this return line first. The factory has a band clamp. This has been replaced already, so it just has a regular worm style clamp, so I'm just going to undo this end. Get a pick and break that loose. See how tight that is? It's coming. But man, it's not liking me. I'll say that. There it goes. Tip that up. Let me get a, I'll just tuck that right here for a minute, and then we get a clamp for that. I'm going to clamp it off. And of course, by clamp, I mean a pair of vice grip pliers. We'll just clamp that off and leave that so it doesn't leak all over. What size these are in here? I think maybe 12. I'm going to get a 12 millimeter socket and see if we can break that loose. So I've got this end of the line still, and I'll show you when I get this out here and out of your way. I'll show you what I did there. I just undid the line that was to the hard line. It goes down to the rack. Connection for the high side line is right here in the back. Let me move you and see. Maybe I can get you in here. You really can't see it, but maybe I can show you that. Right down here. Man, it's just no good spot to show you. Right there. Right? Let me get you in this picture here. Okay, there it is. Right here. It's the connection. I may want to try to sneak in there and break that loose before I completely take this apart. Might be a good thought. Let me try that. Let's see if it's 15. I don't know if it's metric or not for this fitting. It's bigger than 15. 5/8. 5/8 it is. All right. I think I'm going to pull this. I'm going to undo this cross brace. Pull this just to give me some more room in there. These are only little speed nuts. Don't put them back on with a gun. You just break them. Okay. Set that out of there. Let's take this whole thing, set it over there. Now, it might give me enough room to get it out a little easier. I hope. Yeah, it does. Oh, that's tight. That's tight. That's big time tight here. I'm gonna move a couple things here. My light in the way. Light in the way. This light in the way. All kinds of stuff going on here. That's tight. Man, is that tight. I don't like fighting with it. I really don't. Which it's a different size. It's probably 12. That's 11. Believe it or not, it's 11. Can't see anything. Just to get better leverage here, so. This. I'll tell you what, that is very, very tight. Trying to get a good spot here. Trying to. Not having the best of luck, but I'm just gonna do crack it loose here. That's all I really want to do. Get out. Yeah, I made the floor. I don't know if that broke loose or not. Yeah, it did. There you go. That's pretty tight. That's a lot tighter than I expected. But it did come loose. Gonna come in here. That's my bolt. Get my bolt now. 12mm. Finish getting that out of there. All 3 bolts. Very strange. That one is a 12. The bottom. I don't know why. I don't know if somebody's been in there and it got switched for some reason or not. I think that should be all that's holding it. I'll pick that out of there now. Now, can I get it out of here without having to pull the pulley? I don't know. I have to pull the pulley while it's on it. Let me put this back over here. It's not in my way. I gotta lift it up off of this bracket. It's gotta come up and out of there, so. My line is loose, that's loose. Shift it to the back just a little maybe. It's hung up a little bit on the high pressure line. Otherwise that's just tight enough that you have to actually undo the pulley on the car. Maybe. Not sure. Let's hope I can slide this up off of here. But I think it's hitting the pulley. It's hitting something. It's tight. I know that. It's just a tight fit. There. No, you can get it out. There you go. It's just a tight fit getting it out of there. So, reservoir and pulley. We're going to go, our reservoir and pump, we're going to go take this pulley off now. Got the pump on my cart because I really don't have room for a workbench in here. Just don't have the room. So you need a puller to do this. I've got this OEM 27031 kit. You can, if you don't have it, you can get it as a loaner from most auto parts store. I'm going to find the right, I don't know what you would call this, pin or whatever. Slides down in there like that. These are shaped, you look on the front of this hub, there's a groove. Slide that around, put the collar on, turn this down until it tightens up, which is pretty tight. And all you want to do is hold that nut and basically turn the screw down, and it should pull the pulley right off of there. You could do this with a gun, but I know most people don't have it. It's coming, it's moving. At least it feels like it's moving. The pump, nicely painted like garbage. New O-rings, I'll check, but I don't believe this pump uses that Teflon. It uses that on the high pressure line. I'll show you that. That's got to go replace the one that's on there. So we're going to push this pulley back on, and basically what we want to do is push it flush with the end of the shaft. That's usually how they go. We'll check it, but that's usually how it goes. So pulled it off. Now we're going to take the installer. I'm going to put the installer in here. Get the right threaded installer. I'm going to just bottom it out. It's bottomed out. We're just going to hold the top. It doesn't move. And we're going to turn this down, basically. Pull that pulley in. Not turning the actual bolt. I'm holding the bolt so it doesn't turn and keep turning into the pump. I just want to push this down, down the threads onto and push the pulley on. Just kind of checking it. Should bottom out for me, I believe. I'll just show you what it looks like right now. Just back it off just a little bit. So it's about halfway on. See the shaft down in there? We'll just go finish it up. That's all. Not a big deal. You have the right tool. You need the right tool for this one. Definitely need the right tool. Hold the top, back this off. Flush. That's what we want. Okay, let's go. I'm going to show you the O-ring. This is, of course, got a cap on it, which is good. We're going to leave that cap on there for now because we're going to want to. I want to basically flush the system, and that will keep it from leaking out of the reservoir. So we're going to leave this on for the time being until we hook our new or same line, flexible line back on there. I have a new one. I don't know if it's the right one though. I will know. We'll see when we get there. All right, right on the end of the high pressure hose, I thought my camera was off. It's a little black, in this case, a little black O-ring. It's pretty hard. It's not brittle, but it's hard. There's the new one. So I pulled that one off. I have this lubricated with some clean power steering fluid. Just going to put it on there. Get that ready to go. Put that on. And we're going to get ready to put this pump back in. Hopefully without too much problem. I removed my plug from where that high that's interesting. The high pressure line goes in. This pump will go in. It came out, so it'll go in. It's going to be tight. Watch your hard line here. Make sure you get that out of the way. Don't get it behind this. Then you have to kind of wiggle it back in and line your high side high pressure port up. I want to make sure we get that started without the cross threading it. So I'm doing right now. I know you can't see it, but Just kind of wiggling it around, making sure that it's started correctly. Of course, it has to be right there. It's right in my way. This was a 12 coming out. It should be a 12 going in, but it does not seem to want to go on there. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. That'll work a little better. Never said I was that smart. Okay. Now, I'm going to read through the instructions and see how they want you to flush this. I want to fill this up. I'll flush all the dirty fluid that was in there, and it was pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty. Out of that return line. Let me tighten my high pressure line up now before I forget. Don't want to forget that. I'll pull my electrical box back out of the way here so you can't see anything. Basically, I'm just reaching in here and tightening my high pressure. Okay. All right, let me just see if I can get a hose for that. Thought I had a piece of clear that was big enough, but I don't. So we're just going to go with non-clear. I'll try to show it to you as I do it. Yeah, I can make that work. I can make that work. I think that's my line to my fluid extractor. So I should be able to just use that. A clamp on here. Oh, there goes my light. I'll just snug this up now. All right, let me fill this up. We're going to pick this, I know we're going to end up picking the front end of this car so both wheels are off the ground and turning this rack back and forth slowly to work air out of the system. You don't want to do that with the wheels on the ground. Do it with the wheels up off the ground, both of them. So just to kind of recap where we are. High pressure connecting fitting on the bottom of the pump is connected and tight. I left the cap on the return line that goes to the reservoir off. I left that all. I left it in place so it won't leak. And I've got the return line, hard line coming back to my extractor. And I'm just going to put some fluid in there. I don't feel like trying to aim this, so I'm just going to fill it. We'll let that sit for a minute. It's pretty full. Okay. All right, the instructions say basically, as I mentioned earlier, front wheels off the ground. Make sure your reservoir is full, up to where it should be. I'm going to go in and slowly turn back and forth, lock to lock, 2 or 3 times. It's easier if you have 2 people, because as one person does that, you want to make sure this does not run out. You want to keep floating there. So I'm going to turn it back and forth a couple times and then check it and keep doing that. Hopefully you'll see that come out of that hose, I hope. There you go. You see it coming out. You see the color of it. Extractor, I might be able to just put a vacuum on this extractor and cause it to pull the fluid, but I got to be able to fill it when I do that, because it's pulled it down somewhat, not too bad, but get that out of the way. It's not kind of how I want that. My light, that's not working now, out of my way. Might take me a little bit to do this by myself, but it's no big deal. Just takes a little bit longer. Put some more now. You can see the color through the. I only turn it to the left. I didn't even go back and forth yet on it. That's almost to the top again. Let's put it back in my rag. Let me do it some more. This is going to take a little bit, but I'm going to keep doing that until it comes out of this clear. Basically meaning it's pushed all the fluid through the system, all the old stuff is out. And I'll come back, there's no point. I'm just going to go back and forth, just don't let that run dry. All right, so I'm down about ½ an inch below the level now. I'm going to go one more time. That's just one turn to one side. I'm going to go back to the other side now. Lock the lock. You can see some air coming out of there at certain points too. That's what you want, getting the air out. There's a bubble right there. Still dark coming out of there. Checking the lever again. That's just about right. We're going to leave it there for now. Back on there so nothing gets in. I'm going to disconnect this stuff. Hook my return line back up, undo my plug, which will probably make a mess. Yeah, that's probably going to make a mess when I do that, we'll see. Try to keep my hand on that if I can. Not get everything all over the place and end up having to bleed it again probably because I'm going to lose. I don't want to empty it out. I don't want it to empty out, I'll just say that. Probably should have stuck the new hose on there. I thought about it and plugged the top of it. And it'd be above the reservoir and it wouldn't leak out all over the place, but we'll see. Yeah, the fluid in there, guy. What's up with that? Nice. Now it's leaking. Okay. It's gonna not crush it. I'm gonna squeeze it off. So I don't have to worry about it leaking. Okay. This is the hose they listed for this. I don't know that this is going to work. I'm trying to think of how this would work. I don't know that it will. It's like shaped like that. I don't know whether there's kink on it, but if I do this, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know. Figure it out. I don't know how much time I have left. I'm going to run this thing out. 25 minutes. I hope I'm not 25 minutes doing this. I certainly hope not. I probably should have done that and pushed it in the other end. Then I wouldn't have to fight with it, but I'm probably going to have to fight with it. Push this in. Can I even do that? I don't know how I'm going to get that on this end. Yeah, let's see how that works. No way that's going on there. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that because you're not getting that on there. Not a chance. Alright, I'm going to reach in here. I got a wire tie, cable tie, holding it to the line. If I undo that cable tie, I can always put it back. It's going to get out of my way a lot more. So I'm going to do that. Cable tied to the high side, the high line. Should be able to move that out of the way now, yeah. So I can move that completely out of my way for the time being. Now I have a good shot at getting that off there without making too much of a mess. I don't know that I want to use this because I don't like it. Yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to make a mess probably, but I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get a hold of that cap that's on it. I probably should have twisted it off first, just to make sure it's loose. No, I'm not going to use them. Just want to get it moving here. There it goes. Get my line ready. Where did I put it? I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. I really want to use the line they say goes with this. And I'm going to go with it. And we'll see. I can always replace it if I have to. Just kind of pushing it off. It's moving. Now I put my finger over the end of that. There's the cap. I got my finger on the end of the line so it doesn't leak the whole reservoir out of me. I would say put this hose on first, cap the other end of it. It'll be a lot easier on you. Now, I'm going as quickly as I can. Just get this on here, probably leak everything out of it. Not too good. Got it on here. Some leakage. Trying to keep this as clean as I can. Went through a whole can of brake clean. Clean. Right. Get my clamps here. Strategically position them so they're easy to get at with a tool. Okay. Clamp. Put my hand on that. Get in my pan without getting all over everything. Okay. I'm going to zip tie that back in here. It's actually okay. It's not bad. Let me get my clamp, which is on the other end right now. See if I put it on backwards. I actually think I got that right too. Wow, that never happens. These little, I have these Craftsman, a couple of these little Craftsman with a little knurled head on them. They're great for this kind of stuff because you can get a hold of that and just turn them by hand. Instead of having to move the ratchet, you can just turn these by hand. They help a lot when you're doing that. I should have made this clamp probably close. Somebody dropped that closer before I started. Okay. Now I gotta push this backward, zip tie that back where it was so it doesn't get out in the way of the belt. Get a zip tie. Of course. Absolutely clean it. Bring you around and show you that. Now you couldn't see any of that. So this is where it was zip tied before. I'll clip that off. right down in there, but it's up against this hard line. It keeps it in against the front of the timing cover there, in the bracket to keep it out of the way of the belt. The belt comes up across here, so it's not going to be an issue. But that's about it. Both my clamps are tight. And then I'm going to finish vacuum bleeding this, and then I didn't lose much at all. Finish it up, make sure it's okay. I've got my adapter here. This one for this car, it's a rubber seal. Make sure your fluid's up to where it should be, which I already checked. See, this has 2 notches in it, so you can't use a push-in one for this. You just set this on top, like that, hold it. My gauge is all messed up here. Scratched it all up. And you don't want to put more than 20 pounds on it. I should be able to hold this on here. Don't pull above 20. So that's about 18 right there. So I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. Should hold. Should stay up there pretty well. It's just a pressure fit here. There's nothing mechanically holding it in place. And while it sits there, I'm going to try not to hit it. I'm going to clean my stuff up. It's staying up pretty good now. Initially I could hear it kind of pulling. And what it's doing is pulling air out of the system, creating a vacuum pulling air. Alright, so it's been 5 minutes or so. If there's an initial couple blips where it was just pulling a lot of air out, or relatively a lot, it's been at about 17 for the last 5 minutes, which is fine. That's what you want to see. It's going to drop a little bit. It shouldn't drop very much. So I'm going to disconnect that, put the lid back on. I can see my fluid didn't drop very much. I'll just check the fluid level one more time. Plenty, we're good. Might have to take a little bit out of the end, but we're not going to do that yet because I'm going to put the cap back on. I'm going to go in and start it for a couple seconds and then shut it off. You just want to see if it pulls some of that fluid down in there. Let me go do that. After I put the belt on. It'd be a good idea if I put the belt on. Let me go start this up for a couple seconds. Not for long, because you want to check the fluid level again. Just a couple seconds. So I wanted that long. You can hear it. It's still full. Didn't drop any. Do that again. Then you want to turn the wheel, not lock to lock, like 180 degrees. Or so back and forth. I'm about in the middle as it is. And do it again one more time here. It's going to sound a little nasty, but check it again. I just went back and forth a couple times. You hear the sound went right away almost immediately. It's still pushing a little bit out, but fluid level's good. It's not low. All right, we're going to run it now. Well, that's it for the 02 Chevy Impala power steering. I'm shooting this the next day because I just forgot to shoot it. Went fine. Bled it out, put vacuum on it. After running through the procedure to get most of the air out of it. The vacuum did pull a little more air out of it. I test drove it, works fine. Not too hard a job. Just got to make sure you bleed it correctly and get all the air out of it. If you have to do this for your car, I hope it helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.